Louise. It's now been several weeks since we arrived here. I know you would love the place. It's almost like being at Club Med. The country's magnificent. The climate, perfect. Our barracks are located in a lovely suburban lodge. The rooms are semi-private, spacious and bright. During their free time, the guys gather in the rec room. Some read the newspaper in front of the fireplace. Others settle back to catch up on their reading. Still others go for a good game of chess or Scrabble. Every day, the chef treats us to some new delicious offering. And so as not to put on too much weight, the guys have gotten into the habit of going out for long walks. Seriously, I know you're worried about our safety. I won't say there isn't any danger, but believe me, we use every means we have to protect ourselves. The installations, equipment, and procedures are all designed for our protection. First of all, the compound is completely enclosed by barbed wire. We've installed trip flares along practically the whole perimeter. I'll have more to tell you about that in a minute. The building is reinforced by sandbags. It gives us that much more cover should anyone decide to throw any stuff our way. Those sandbags serve a lot of purposes. We also use them to fortify our weapons positions. A fence seals off access to the area, and we have men on sentry duty at all times. Our armored personnel carriers are tactically positioned at all entry points and elsewhere about the grounds. They can serve as cover and firing positions, but they're also deployed in such a way as to get us out of here in a hurry if we ever have to evacuate. Our installations are clearly identified with United Nations flags. This is an important detail, because the last thing we need is to be mistaken for belligerents. At night, the grounds are kept as fully illuminated as possible. The platoon command post is located in the main bunker. Now, this is a vital area for us. Here we keep first aid supplies, 72-hour rations for the whole platoon, topographical maps, radio logs, and of course communication systems. And this post is occupied 24 hours a day by the unit's signal personnel. They are assigned to monitor and record all transmissions. Communications are vital to our security. Sometimes, they are the only link we have with the outside world. Every day we patrol the area, either on foot or in armored vehicles. In this way, we are able to detect any activity that might threaten our security. In addition, we've installed several observation posts outside the compound. They're built in such a way as to give our people a place to take cover if the situation calls for it. Over here, we are always more or less in a state of alert. Night and day, there is at least one section on duty to guard the area and be ready to go into action, should there be any kind of alert. I've already told you about the trip flares planted along the barbed wire enclosure. They're very efficient. The other night it was well proved.
Flare! 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 Flare!
Whenever there is an incident of this kind, we go to a higher state of alert. For example, during the next few hours, we'll step up the frequency of patrols about the perimeter. Thankfully, our visitors don't always come to us with hostile intent. That doesn't mean we spread out the welcome mat too easily either. Access to the interior of the compound is very strictly controlled. Anyone who wants to enter must have good reasons, and it's up to the person in charge to allow it or not. No one is allowed to enter the grounds carrying weapons. These must be handed over at the gate. Should the need arise, there is an interpreter on hand to explain the regulations. If our visitors refuse to abide by any one of them, that's it. They must remain outside the compound. Once inside, Obviously, visitors are under constant escort. I've told you about levels of alert. Naturally, there are some situations in which we go to total alert. That's just what happened a few days after we got here. Everything was nice and quiet that day. Then suddenly... When something like this happens, everyone takes to the nearest cover available, such as an armored vehicle or a bunker. The lieutenant or warrant takes over the command post and makes sure that all personnel are safely in place. Then, he calls the company command post to report on the situation. Once everybody is under cover, well, there's nothing to do but wait. On that day, the mortar shelling was probably intended to intimidate or test us. I guess you could call it a little war of nerves. But had the situation developed into something serious, we would have been able to start evacuating our position on short notice, since our armored vehicles are always ready to roll. And, oh yes, mechanical maintenance of these vehicles is also part of our protection measures. You have to understand the work we do here is always a bit risky, but we try to keep the margin of risk minimal. We have well-defended installations and first-rate procedures to cover any eventuality. One thing for sure, our people are all professionals. Look, I'm sending along a picture, so you can see most of the stuff I've been telling you about. The barbed wire we strung up all around the compound. A trip flare, like the one which fired off the other night. The sandbag reinforcements. The UN flags. Spotlights to illuminate the grounds at night. The gate and sentry post. The main bunker, where the command post is located. Some of the other bunkers. The armored personnel carriers which provide cover, serve as firing positions, and of course as patrol vehicles, or in case of evacuation. There, I'm giving you a fast tour, but hey, if you ever find yourself in the neighborhood and care to drop by for our deluxe package tour,